All right. Good evening, everyone. It is 6:00 p.m. on August the 5th, 2026. I'd like to begin the regular workshop of Town of Lake City Board of Trustees. First item this evening is to discuss DOLA ADU grant application, reduced match request, and incentive funding.
So the ADU grant program that was supposed to be open right now got pushed back to September, to the later half of September, the beginning of October. They did that to give communities a little bit longer to become ADU certified, ADU supported jurisdiction certified, and so the grant will fund like technical assistance coupled with like a fee waiver program or pre-approved designs approved by pre-approved designs supported by an outreach and education strategy. I'm recommending that we apply for a grant for like 4 pre-approved ADU designs and technical assistance to have a handy, easy to read and understand brochure that describes the rules and process for building ADUs. I'm in Lake City, coupled with like a small fee waiver program. Based on the conversations I've had, the designs will cost somewhere between 15 and 20 grand per design, and a professionally produced brochure could be as close up to like 5 grand, 2,500 or 5 grand, depending on who we use. And then I was thinking about $30,000 for a fee waiver program. So the total project budget would be about $115,000, and the match requirement is 25%. So that would be $28,750 of the $115,000. But we could, and we would ask for $86,250. And I was thinking that it would be worth to ask for a reduced match of 13%, like Silverton did. That would reduce our match down to $14,950. And if the match reduction is approved, then the additional grant funding would help support a fee waiver program of some kind. I did submit the ADU supportive jurisdiction application. I heard from one of the people at DOLA that we were pre-certified, but I haven't got an official notice for pre-certification or certification. It's probably going to take a couple more weeks. But if that was what I was thinking. I mean, we still have more time to think about this, and I just wanted to get y'all's opinion or feedback on it.
Trustee Lindsay, do you have anything to say?
Yay, go, let's go. Yep.
So
Woods?
we're gonna do sample ADU designs for the public to use in case they want to build one.
Yeah, like pre-approved designs, and there'll be like a one that's compatible with the historic preservation district. There'll be like an ADA one, and then there'll be like a small one and a large one is what I was thinking. And maybe we can make all of them ADA. You know, I need to talk to the architect or whatever that we end up hiring, but make more like maybe 2 of them that are ADA accessible have the option to be ADA accessible.
They're $20,000 to $30,000 each.
15 to 20 is the going rate to get each one designed.
Ditto, Jody.
Ditto, Jody. I'll wait. I'll go back.
I thought they had blueprints. I thought they were going to give us free, stuff. Are we paying for blueprints?
No, there's not,
Designs.
because they'll need to design it. Like they'll have to take into account like the soils here, because our regulations are 300 to 1,000 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more about being tailored to our building code, our energy code, our fire code, our historic preservation design guidelines. So they would be tailored for our community, so that they would be pre-approved, and they wouldn't have to go through the COA process.
Sales pitch.
They wouldn't have to go through the COA review. They wouldn't have to go through.
Gabe wouldn't have to go there and look
No.
at it and approve it.
No, yeah, it would be.
I'd like Gabe to come by and look at it and approve it.
Well, I mean, they would still have to get. I mean, they would be designs that would be pre-approved, and it would streamline the process for them to get it built. They wouldn't have to hire someone themselves to get it done.
Right, but I believe
$15,000 to $20,000, but the state will pay hopefully the majority of it, like 75% of it or more.
It's just how the gears work? You gotta,
Well, I believe Dave would be involved as building inspector.
Yeah.
Just because you got pre-approved plans doesn't mean he's not gonna.
Right.
turn off the electrical.
Yeah, you still have to go
Yeah.
through all the inspections.
Yeah, he's still got it.
Exactly.
To make sure.
It just seems like a lot. I, like, they hooked you with the whole ADU thing, become part of your community, ADU supportive community. And then, oh, by the way, you gotta pay us all this money.
You don't have to. I mean, we could just do it as, I mean, the other options would be just to have,
Your own
like-
blueprint, your own design.
well, it's not, but that's not the only thing it will fund. It would fund an outreach and education strategy. It would fund, like, to get, like, professionally developed, like, brochures made. It also, up to $15,000 per ADU, they would, fund, like, in terms of fee waiver or to help people build them.
Okay.
And so-
Is there a cap on that?
Yeah, 15,000 per ADU is the cap.
But
And, like-
cap on, I mean,
Not well, they would, typically the awards have been around 100 grand. It depends on the size of your
that
community.
sounds nice, 15 for.
Yeah, so, but there would be in here about $30,000 for a fee waiver program. And we would need to decide, like, what exactly is that waiving? What would it go to? How many could we fund?
We decide.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And it could help kickstart, at least get, a handful built if people were willing to do it.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, it's a good way for us to kickstart the program.
Okay, sorry for feeling like.
Yeah.
Those were some good questions. I'm glad you asked them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? Trustee Trexler?
I'm curious what the 30,000 does for the fee waiver program. Like, what does that money do in that? I just don't know how it works.
Well, I mean, that's something that we need to determine, like, and we'll have other conversations about this. It could help cover, things that we waive, like if we're saying that, like it could cover the water and sewer tap fees if it's something that's not gonna be a common tap, if they don't apply for that. We could waive it, but that's really like reimbursing us, like we're paying the tap fee for them. We give, just keeping it ourselves
Right.
is one version.
So it's per ADU.
It's per ADU.
Okay. Makes sense.
Right, and there would be an application process, there would be a whole process that will have to come up.
Okay.
And that would be something the housing consultant that we're gonna be hiring would help us create an ADU fee waiver program. They would help us create an ADU incentive program. And then that's when we'll decide ultimately, how we're gonna use that for that kind of program.
Do we know if there's a limit on, like, let's say 2 lots, how many ADUs can be on 2 lots?
Yeah, that's in the ADU ordinance we passed recently. It would only be one ADU.
Okay.
And you still have to build it on the same lots as the existing structure. And that was all in that ADU ordinance, where it kind of tells you the design requirements and the limitations. Yeah, sorry.
There are like safety nets in there keeping people, like they can't use them for short-term rentals. They
Right.
can't. I've always been an advocate of making sure that the system can't be tricked and people are taking advantage of it. The purpose is to give people incentive to provide housing for long-term workers and students. So, I was just gonna add, all the trustees have spoken. I agree with trustee Lindsay. I had the same question as Nathan, and I just think this is the very beginning of the process. And Lex is just letting us know why we would go for that grant, and what we'd be using for that for. But I also feel like we're not the first, by far, small mountain community that's looking at an ADU program. And I would hunt down some existing drawings. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. And so, that caught my eye too. I read Lex's report earlier. I think, wow, $15,000, that's quite a bit. But the purpose of that is everybody that wants to build one doesn't have to spend 15 grand and pay an architect to do that to get them signed up. But I also think there's a way where we could borrow from other towns and then see if we could get them approved without spending that much money, Lex. I'm not trying to add work to it, but you see what I'm saying? There's other communities that have done this, and
Yeah.
there's plans, and I think I told you, like, 6 months, a year ago, I got online, started, there's an ADU housing company. And they sell these ones, metal framing, which everybody thought was dumb, but with fires coming, metal framing sounds pretty good. But my point being is you can go to their website and it's like, pick a plan. And they have tons of it, and I don't know if they were that expensive. But see what I'm saying? I think it's worth exploring avenues to where we can save the town some of that
Yeah,
money.
I'll ask is most communities have more current energy codes, building codes, and fire codes than we do.
Right.
So I will see, I'll put it out there, see if we get anything back, if they're willing to share it. And I'll also ask at the same time what current energy codes, fire code, all the codes that it was designed around, what are those?
Right.
Because that's the idea is that it's tailored to whatever you've adopted and what you're currently using.
That's good.
So will these all only be 1 unit ADUs, or is it gonna be possible to have a 2 unit
No, but that ADU ordinance is a single family residence.
one?
One. That's all I had.
Okay, any trustees have any other questions on that? I'm just glad to see it's moving forward. Thank you, Lex.
Lex,
I'm
I'll
glad
share anything that I get from my other communities that I can with you guys as well, along the lines of what they were saying, so.
Thank you, Dan. Okay, our next item is to discuss the IJ with Hinsdale County Clerk for a coordinated election. There was a copy in your packet, I don't know if you read it, it's pretty long.
The doozy.
But I did collect it, and it's very similar to the same one that they use at the school.
Yeah.
Anybody else for coordinated election, so it wasn't really changed that much other than the name.
Yeah, it's the boilerplate one. And yeah, all it is us agreeing to have the county clerk run a coordinated election specifically for our ballot questions.
And our staff is still part of it, if you read it.
Yes.
There's certain
Yeah, on
jobs each party is responsible.
On September 4th, Christina will be out of town on vacation, but I will be here to proof the ballot language. Her and I needed to do a little bit more homework. That means I need to be the designated election official for that or not, but we're going to have a conversation about that way before it happens.
And I'm sure Tina will be a second set of eyes.
Yeah.
Do whatever I can, Dave.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just the next step in us putting our ballot questions on the November election.
Okay. Any trustees have any questions or comments on that? No. Our next item is to discuss flash flood cleanup and recovery efforts. Are you here to explain that?
Well, yeah, he's in on it.
Go ahead. You got
You go, yeah. So we did make a list of all the private property owners that the old interceptor ditch on T Mountain runs through. I'll be arranging meetings with them and Tri-State BLM to hopefully negotiate some kind of maintenance and easement agreement for that ditch. And on possibly building some kind of engineered debris fencing or mitigation for the future, because it's going to take all those parties to be in agreement to it. Yeah, Public Works has been busy assessing and clearing the ditches, culverts, and streets, and that's probably going to take the rest of the month to do. There's a lot. And we will be coming to the trustees to share our findings and propose some minor changes that are practical and may help, which we can also seek engineer approval on. Maybe just adding a culvert here, upsizing this culvert, or on the private culverts, especially upsizing probably quite a few of those, and getting buy-in from those property owners to, like, we'll source the culvert, they pay for it, but we'll do the work and they're not going to charge anybody.
That was gonna be my question.
Yes, that was question answered. I did speak to the state about the wastewater treatment plant mudslide, and we're waiting on a proposal from Ridgeway Valley to give us a fixed contract price on removing the mud and debris in the lagoon. And once we have that, I'm gonna go to the state and try to get a supplemental grant under the current construction grant that we have for the wastewater plant to cover that expense.
I saw them out in the boat in the sewer. That had to be so much fun. My goodness.
Sure
You
we
didn't
still
get the
smell
odor.
it.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you for that. Yeah, thank you for not doing a scratch and sniff.
We're lucky we have staff willing. to-
Yes, good job. That was my comment, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure y'all kind of still got to smell it.
Oh, yeah.
There are piles of dirt appearing in the right of way. I'm gonna do some more messaging for the end of the week, just about, you can pile your dirt in the right of way. Please put it in the right of way, because some are appearing in the street, in the drivable part of the street, and people just don't realize that the right of way is probably several feet into their yard.
Correct.
Or what they think is their yard. And we have, like, y'all removed some piles.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the second we remove them, more show up.
Yeah. We expect that process.
I got a couple trees I'm gonna be trimming.
Yeah.
Kidding.
We expect that to kind of continue through the month. At some point though, sooner, I don't know, maybe the first week or two of September, we kind of cut that off and just be like, if you're going to do this, do it, because we're going to stop doing this, at some point, which is yet to be determined. Did you have anything else to add to all that?
No, not really. All I was gonna say was, first thing we're gonna do is clean out the culverts and ditches, and then we'll think about upgrades after that. But it is gonna be pretty time intensive. Sometimes it can take an entire day to clean out a single culvert. It just depends on what's in there.
Right.
Well, I personally appreciate you guys doing that, helping the citizens out that way. I know you got plenty on your hands, but I noticed some piles disappeared today, so.
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing, doing for the citizens.
Yeah. It's just going to take time. And yeah, I'm going to probably not till beginning next week. Am I going to try to arrange a meeting with all those parties? And kind of see what happens with the Spire anyway. But we'll be diligently working on it as time allows. Anybody have any questions about any of that?
Questions, comments?
I did hear though that before like Lynn McNick's house was built, like that was the retention pond for the old stormwater system.
Yeah.
Like that's why that dead ends there is it was all flowed there, was to sit there.
In the past meeting when I was talking about the culverts to nowhere, I actually.
I am very aware.
Well.
Yeah.
Me too.
When it was brought up too, because I lived in Giles' house,
Yeah.
and that was my backyard where Greasy Gordon camped. But there was that pond back there, and I never was privy to the information that was the idea behind that. But it's surprising to me now that 3 homes have been built down there, that was never addressed in the past,
Yeah,
'cause-
I'm sorry,
Trustee Lindsay?
if I may. I think that you might want to run by an engineer any of the plans you have for that top ditch that runs that way, because it dumps right there on that southern swale that got flooded. That's pretty much where it dumps, and I think it's mostly because there's a blowout right there.
Yeah, and that's where that culvert was removed, where it goes into the Breedens property.
Oh, right.
So yeah, future engineered something there, hopefully. But I'm more concerned about everything that's running into the wastewater treatment plant.
Actually, that was what I said,
Oh,
was that big
North
ditch
side.
that we can't get in,
yeah.
in the T Mountain Division.
I mean, at least clearing it out, but not really making changes for it, but it's full. Like it's full of sediment, so like it's not gonna collect or draw water anywhere else but down.
I have one thing to add to that. So we ourselves do not actually have the equipment to clean that out.
Yeah.
It's we would either need to rent a Traco or.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely have to contract it
Yeah.
to somebody. Like a Mini X or, a truck.
Well, this has gone on for years and years, because I got flooded out years ago,
I saw Burton
and we talked about it. but I-
drive up in there. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, it's okay. I was
That
just
was
gonna
not my
say,
intention.
I think if we had stayed on top of it and worked to get that permission to get in there, that almost every other year you could go in there and dig out that sediment and pile it on the downhill side, to where over time it would become a substantial ditch. You know, you can build it up and actually give you kind of a small track for equipment to run up and down, straddling it, you know, and then just kind of.
Yeah, when I went up there, I walked the whole thing and took pictures. And there's definitely where it's washed out everything and it's bedrock. Like there's certain parts of it that you're not gonna make it wider, you know, because it's like solid rock.
Right.
But there's other parts where that is possible. Just there's certain parts of it that are just bedrock, and it's
And that might take concrete or something like that.
yeah.
But that's where the engineers come in. Trustee Woods?
Well, I think we should make some grumblings about eminent domain and then think about trying to purchase Anderson's lot.
Yeah.
Is anybody else interested in finding out what, buying Anderson's lot would involve? Or
Well, that's one of the people that I'm going to be contacting, and I was going to have that conversation with them, especially if they were not amenable to the idea of giving us some kind of easement agreement or allowing us to maintain it. But I wanted to see, I don't know what the opinion is of all the current property owners. So I was going to fill them all out and see how they felt about it or what they'd be willing to let us do or not. And I don't think we have the money to buy 4 or 5 properties, but
well, he's the main one.
yeah, well, I'm going to figure that out in the near future.
It's ironic to me that the people whose property you're trying to protect don't want you to go in there and fix the problem.
Right.
Well, I think it's something we can work on. In fact, I had mentioned, I did a little research on eminent domain, and when it's for public safety purposes, for a municipality, we have a right to request that. But I like the approach Lex is taking. See if we can work with them.
Yeah.
These are all new homeowners, you know, and maybe let them understand this is protecting you.
Yeah, and everyone downstream from me,
Yeah.
you know, or downhill.
So I think that's a good place to start, but I also agree with Henry that, you know, which comes to shove it, eminent domain is another option.
Yeah, I saw a letter back in 2014, whenever Nate was here for about 6 months or however long he was here. Correspondence between him and the attorney at the time. And the attorney was advising not to drive eminent domain unless you had something designed and engineered, and then that would bolster the case for pulling eminent domain. So, I mean, that was, you know, one of the many reasons why we were trying to go after the money to get actually something designed and engineered, because it would give us the teeth and the support to be able to do what we needed to do to protect the ball field.
Right. Well, I think what we just went through helps us out as well. You know, if FEMA gets some funds again, you know, we'd already started that project. Say, well, here's some photos, guys. look what happened. So,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it's justification for why we need to do that.
yeah. I took a lot of photos.
Well, we did spend a lot of money on that large ditch along 6th Street, I guess it is.
Mhm.
And I remember a little while after we did it, there was a huge rainstorm going over there, looking at it, and it was, 3 feet deep of water flowing hard.
Yeah, and
So it was doing the job, and then they removed that culvert, and then they cut off the bottom of it.
yeah, we're gonna meet with David Cherry next Tuesday, Ethan and I, who he owns the property on the east side of Pine, where his private culvert kind of feeds into our culvert system. And he wants to talk about like the way that water flows over his property and feeds into his culvert.
May I suggest adding Brad Hall and Bruce Spearhiller to that conversation?
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's,
Yeah. That's what I'm
Because it
saying.
starts
Henry and our
up
last-
there and goes down through those properties.
Well, I was amazed, Henry, that ditch you're talking about there on 5th Street. how it used to be so deep. Literally, it was like you'd stand at the bottom of it and it was 5 feet up to the road. And the way it's silted in now, there's not, it did part of the job of
It's
catching.
still pretty deep, but
That's,
it did the job when we did it.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
and it helped this time, but it was just overwhelming amount of water.
Was there a lot of water in it this last time?
Oh, it was full.
The first.
And then the sediment, it was only like a foot, a foot, maybe 2 feet where above
Where
water.
did the water go below that?
I mean, it went down there behind Bobby's house. Yeah,
It made a lake.
yeah,
I don't know if you saw the picture of the floating firewood trucks halfway underwater. That's where
That
it
was
all
bad.
went.
that's where it went. So as we clear them out and we look at them, we're gonna take a deeper look at them and see which ones we can make deeper and wider. And putting berms on the homeowner's side of the ditches to help water stay in the ditch and to get it to flow where we want it to flow. But, that's gonna be part of our assessment and when we come back to you guys.
One more thing, we used to take, when we cleaned out the ditches, we take a big scoop that was deeper right on the uphill side of the culvert so that it would fill in if there was a lot of sediment coming down on the side and not plug up the culvert as much.
We definitely tried to do the same thing, but that much, it doesn't help.
Yeah, with that much earth that moved, it was a lot. It was a big debris flow.
Well, if you guys wouldn't have done all that work, it would have been much worse.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else on the flash flood work? Any trustee? Okay, well, thank you very much for the job you guys have done. We appreciate it. Okay, and our final, item for the workshop is discussion, discuss Ridgeway Valley concrete basin electrical changeover, or street renovation project.
Yes.
We changed the type of aeration we're gonna use in the concrete basin. And so we needed to change how we were gonna wire it. The aeration equipment was not part of Ridgeway Valley's contract. It was, well, remember we bought a bunch of equipment in order to save on his overhead and profit. This is one of them. So, they gave us some deducts for the part they were gonna do, and the ads that it's gonna cost to put the panel in. And this will have a little more safety equipment for the aerators. And it seems like it fits with how we wanna do the aeration now.
And just for clarification, you're talking about the existing concrete base.
Basin, yes, yeah. And that'll be 2 big holes in the blanket of the cover for that. They're 17-foot square footprint. They're huge, but they'll do both. One of the things we had planned the concrete basin for was to be able to run it aerated or anaerobic, which is almost no air, or actually anoxic, which is almost no air, and anaerobic, which is no air, but needs to be mixed. And so we found some aerators that could do all 3 of those. And that's part of why we selected that over having mixers for one application and aerators for another application when we were deciding how we wanted to use that basin. So
We're gonna have a state-of-the-art lagoon system when it's all over, hopefully.
pre-mudded.
Yeah.
It makes sense, and we gotta do what we gotta do, and did save some money up front, so I believe we need to just live with. Get it done.
We've spent very little of the contingencies so far, so I don't think it's going to be a hardship. I do have one more change order that's probably gonna come up in 2 weeks. And it's gonna be for the cover people as part of what happened with the flood and what happened with some power glitches on the blowers. I wanna make provisions in the cover to be able to put more aerators in cell 3. And that should be a pretty minimal charge. Most of the openings are costing about $200. And I want 2 more.
And that,
So you may see that in a couple of weeks. Hopefully she's gonna have, we decided in order to get the covers to come, this part of the stuff, in order to get the covers to come on time, we're gonna break them in half, the submittal in half. So I'm gonna get the 2 cells that got lined in the last week or 2, the submittal for that cover, and then the one for the concrete basin, and cell 3 is gonna come later. So try to keep Ridgeway out and doing something.
Okay, cool.
I've driven by and it's moving along, so that's.
It is, they're making visible progress. Today's progress was a little less visible, but they primed the walls and got most of the priming of the walls done in the inside building.
And that's,
I was just saying, like, since it's only 6:30, if Mayor Roberts be willing to let her go ahead and do her report, she's probably having a long day, and
Yeah.
and just let her get it since the workshop's ending so
Yep.
soon.
go ahead and do your report, that's fine with me, and that way trustees can ask any questions they have of you when you're done with that.
Perfect. I think there were a lot of pictures this time because it was 3 weeks and a lot happened. But the pond, everything except the concrete basin is now lined. Today, they finished the week test on the one that's full. And we'll be starting to transfer some water into the one that's empty. That both of them will have to be drained entirely because the inlet pipes aren't on the supports yet. They didn't get those formed in time to do for the concrete pour earlier this week. But, and they're gonna start, you'll be happy to know they're gonna start in the wareboxes. So it's just kind of moving along. The slide gates are another month out. And so, and the guys in the field and I are working on schedule. We keep getting schedules that are not terribly accurate. And we're going to try to do something together. And I've started a list that not only has the task, but also what you got to do before you can do that task so that they can start to put things into a reasonable order.
Well, I once again appreciate your reports with the photos, it explains a lot. And
Yeah.
just for educational purposes, what are we looking at as far as getting that, not the floating debris, but some of the silt and mud that made it into the ponds? I saw where we need to clean that out. Does that
Yeah.
require draining them? Or-
Well, they need, when the slide gates come, they need to drop it 8 feet to install the slide gates. They'll need to do that one cell at a time. But when they do cell 3, cell 2 shouldn't be a problem because there's not a whole lot of mud. And they're going to be moving water back and forth between them. They'll probably wear the mud out. But for cell 3, we figured that they had to drain it 8 feet. So we asked Ridgeway Valley for a proposal to drop it the other 2 feet to where they get into the real mud. And then, because it's mixed with sewage, we figured we'd have to take it to winter rates. So that is going to probably be an expensive change.
So do you suck it? I was just interested in the process without.
Oh,
damaging-
they'll probably, they
Without
haven't taken
damaging
the vac truck home. Did you see the vac truck when you went by today?
Uh,
Yeah, That's probably how they'll have to get it out.
And they can do that, doesn't hurt the liner. They just-
No, he'll do it from the surface. I think I had a picture in my staff report of them trying to do that. And he had the suction pipe just sitting right on the top of the water.
But it didn't really work.
It didn't work for what we were trying to do.
And that's the part where we'll go to DOLA to try to get a supplemental grant to pay for that change.
Right.
Because that's definitely not within the scope of work or any
Yeah.
kind of change order we normally need to do.
Yeah,
Right.
so,
Okay. Any trustees have questions? or
yes.
comments? Trustee Burke?
So I'm just looking at the pictures of flooding on the south lot and I see a lot of product out there. Did we lose?
We didn't lose anything. They're having a good time cleaning it.
Okay. Good.
Some of it, they got a good start on it late last week. And it got to be time to go home on Friday. And the ones that were muddy that they hadn't cleaned got set in the outlet box. And are soaking so that the mud doesn't dry and make it harder to clean,
Yep, I've got that in front of my house. It's wonderful.
I'm sure. So, yeah.
Okay.
And they did move everything except the minor materials up to the top today. Because they're getting ready to try to put those H's together. And they couldn't find all the parts, and then I said, but I think there's some down below.
So Lex, you said that you had contacted the state, I assume CDPHE, about the events, the flooding event at the sewer plant. And I'm just wondering, do you think, is there going to be any kind of like repercussions from that? Or are they just going to say, thanks for the info?
He contacted DOLA for money.
I counted DOLA for money.
Okay, do we need to talk to the
I don't
CDPHE?
think so. I think we're,
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah, because it didn't
Alright.
interrupt treatment.
okay, I'm just
Yeah.
want to make sure that nothing's going to come back at us.
no, I think the one thing that may be an issue is that 4th of July was more load than we could treat.
But that was before all this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that was part of why I think we need, in order to get the air back into that bottom end, I think we have to have some provision to be able to add air at the bottom below the, right now we can, and we have released the baffle curtain.
Yes,
And since we've started the project, like, we've,
is that this that you were talking about, the baffle?
Yeah,
Okay,
and, so the baffle curtain is now strung at an angle that kind of increased the volume of water, probably about increased the 50%, the volume of water that is getting aerated.
good. Right on.
And it did, it turned, I don't know, turned it around the next day.
Awesome.
Yeah,
And then do you think also that air action might help drive some of that debris down a little bit?
I think we've got almost, there's almost no debris left.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
Okay.
did they,
Sure.
that boating thing?
Yeah.
That they
It
managed?
worked.
It worked. I mean, They,
God bless their
so
souls.
how many things did we try before we got there?
At least 10.
Yeah,
There was a reason that old boat was.
yeah.
That was my boat. I donated it to the town.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
And it's CDP, I mean, like, we've been in constant contact with CDPHE
Okay.
since the project began, because us taking things offline and replacing things, like different
Yeah.
areas, we're not really meeting the stringent requirements of our permit, but they know that because we're renovating. And so, we've been in like regular contact with CDPHE almost every month.
I just want to,
Yeah.
that was my question. Thank
Yeah.
you. Appreciate
It was not, I had run the calcs for summer and winter and July. And we knew July was really touch and go, or if they weren't done by July.
Uh-huh.
And
Well, we've
It was-
been out of compliance in July for a few years now, right?
No, this is the first time since we
Yeah.
started the plant.
Right, but previous to that,
Yeah, yeah.
we were pushing
Yes.
it in July.
Yes.
Yes.
So, okay, thank you.
Okay, any other trustees have questions or comments? Hearing none, then, we will end our workshop. The time is 6:40 PM and we will reconvene at 7 PM for our regular meeting.
But
Is
Thank
there
you, everyone.
anything you need from me for approving the change order later?
All right, good evening, everyone. It is 7:00 PM on Wednesday, August the 5th, 2026. And at this time, I would like to call to order the regular meeting of the Town of Lake City Board of Trustees. Begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. Tina, would you lead us?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Bruce,
Here.
Lindsay,
Here,
Ripsano,
Here.
Winery,
In a ditch.
Woods,
Here.
Weist,
Here.
Roberts.
Here. Next is approval of agenda for the regular meeting, August 5th, 2026. Do we have any additions or revisions?
No, I have a question for Dan real quick though. Okay. Dan, on the reviewing of the proposals, I didn't have an action item there because the idea was that, we would open up the proposals, we'd share a copy with all the trustees. And then they could make a decision at the next meeting when we should be under contract with the grant we're getting as well. Does there need to be a motion on that or can we just review?
Sorry, I'm choking on Cheetos. I would have a motion to, let's see, so you're gonna open them tonight and you want them to review and then discuss it next time?
Yes.
I'd have a motion to continue the item to, the next meeting.
So when we get to that part. Well, the
Under H,
H,
Yeah.
yeah.
motion to continue.
Okay.
Yeah, so just I wanted to make that, I wasn't sure what we could do. I didn't get around to asking Dan.
We're moving the whole thing to the next meeting?
Well, we'll review them now and we'll open them and then I'll share a copy with everybody. And then we would entertain a motion to continue the discussion item until the next meeting so that we can make a final decision then.
Okay. I think with the amount of information in there, that makes sense. Okay. So we do have that one little change. Next item is
Well,
minutes.
we need to vote.
Now?
Well, on the agenda, we need to vote. to
I'll
approve the
move,
agenda.
Okay.
I'll move to approve the agenda for August 5th, 2026.
Okay.
do we need that? We have I can discuss. Do we need that to state that we're adding? No. Sorry, I'm catching up.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, we don't need to
We're
add.
not really changing the agenda.
Yeah, we're not
Yeah.
really changing anything.
Right.
I apologize.
Okay, any other discussion? No. Roll call vote, please.
Bruce.
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
Ripsano,
Yes.
Woods,
Yes.
Weist,
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes. Next item is minutes from the July 15th meeting. In the packet, anybody have any questions, comments, or corrections?
Motion to approve the minutes for 7/15/2026.
Have a motion in a second.
Hi, guys.
Roll call vote, please.
Bruce.
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
Ripsano,
Yes.
Woods,
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Yes.
At least.
Oh, I'm sorry, Weist.
Yes.
And I'm still a yes.
Thank you.
Okay, and next item is bills payable for August fifth, 2026. You have a copy in front of you. They seem much smaller compared to last time.
I would make a motion to approve the bills of August 5th in the amount of $42,646.08.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion, or questions on it? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Bruce.
Yes.
Lindsay.
Yes.
Crisano. Woods.
Yes.
Weist.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes. Okay, our next item is, public hearings. The first one, public hearing is to receive public comments regarding the proposed adoption of ordinance 2026-10, approving a lease of certain right-of-way owned by the town of Lake City, a portion of the 8th Street right-of-way. I will now open that up. Public discussion. Seeing no public in the room with us, is there any public online that would like to make a comment? You can do so by raising your hand or unmuting yourself, showing your face. Seeing or hearing none. Now we have a discussion amongst the trustees. Discussion of possible action to approve the second reading of that ordinance. Approving a lease of certain right of way owned by the town of Lake City, a portion of the 8th Street right of way.
Is a motion in order?
Yes. Discussion of possible action to approve.
I move to approve the second reading. I move to approve on second reading ordinance 2026-10. Approving a lease of certain right-of-way owned by the town of Lake City, a portion of the 8th Street right-of-way.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Bruce.
Yes.
Lindsay.
Yes.
Crisano.
Yes.
Woods.
Yes.
Weist.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes. Okay, our next item, public hearing to receive public comments regarding the proposed adoption of ordinance 2026-11, amending section 23-11C, section 23-14D, and section 23-15D of the Lake City Municipal Code to update and clarify performance standards for the MHR, CBD, and GBD zoning districts. I will now open the meeting up for public comment in regard to that. Again, there's no public in the room. Anybody on Zoom would like to make a comment? Unmute your mic, raise your hand, or show your face. Seeing, hearing nothing. I will now close the public hearing. And now, trustees, we have a discussion and possible action to approve the second reading ordinance 2026-11 as written. Okay, trustee Lindsay?
Yes, I would just like to reiterate my protest at making any changes in the central business district zoning ordinances. That's it. Thank you.
The other trustees? Okay, well, we have a motion.
No, you don't.
No motion.
But I will
Any other
move,
discussion?
I will move to approve on second reading ordinance 2026-11, amending section 23-11C, section 23-14D, and section 2315D of the Lake City Municipal Code to update and clarify performance standards for the mobile home residential district, Central Business District, and General Business District zoning districts. Amen.
Motion,
Second.
got a motion and a second. Okay. We already had a discussion, roll call vote.
Bruce.
Yes.
Lindsay,
No,
Tripsona,
Yes.
Woods,
No,
Weist,
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes,
Motion passed.
motion's passed. All right, our next item is to review proposals received for the RFP for consulting services. Implement phase one of the Hillsdale County Lakes Comprehensive Housing Plan and the Planning and Zoning Commission letter of recommendation.
So I'm gonna open these and say the name of the vendor and then the total price of the contract, and then I'm gonna pass out copies to everyone for y'all's review. On July 16th at like 4:20 PM, we received a proposal from Abundance Community Advisors. The total price of their proposal was not to exceed $100,000. We also received on July 17th around 2 PM, Aspire Colorado's KS LLC proposal. It also was in the amount of $100,000 not to exceed. We received another proposal from Collegiate Peaks Law and Mediation LLC on July 16th, 2026, around 12:20 PM. Theirs was $92,750 plus $2,250 of travel, which was going to be upon request. The total would be $95,000 not to exceed. We also received a proposal from Hearthway on July 17th, around 1:50 PM. And the total proposal on that was $99,500, and travel would be an additional cost. Slim Gullion Services also submitted a proposal on July 17th around 3 PM. And they actually did not provide a cost estimate with their proposal. And then the final proposal we received was from Waypoint Housing Partners LLC. And we received that on July 17th, 10:15 AM. And the total cost of that was $99,075, not to exceed that amount, and travel was included. If you would, pass these around and take one labeled with your name. There is quite a bit to review. Some are more lengthy than the others. In your packet is a scoring matrix. If you would like to score it based on what our RFP said. Planning and zoning did review these, and in your packets is also a recommendation from planning and zoning. And yeah, so there is quite a bit to read and consider.
Wow.
And that's why also making the motion to continue to the next meeting would probably be wise to give everyone time to review them thoroughly. So, yes, thankfully we did receive 6 proposals total, which was more of a response than I had anticipated. I do believe Housing Colorado did distribute it amongst their members, which helped, because some of these people I definitely did not send, unless they saw it in our newspaper. I'm not sure how they got our RFP. But there are actually some really, really good choices in here, and some really qualified people. So I would encourage all the trustees to read them thoroughly, and then we can have a lively discussion about it at the next meeting. If someone does make a motion to continue.
Well, I would like to.
Prior to making the motion to continue, I just also, I know that planning and zoning has reviewed this and would probably have recommendation, is that? Or
The recommendation is in your packet.
in there, okay.
Yep. Yep, and then also a scoring matrix, if you would like to score them yourselves. And then that way we can have a thorough discussion about it at our next meeting.
Sounds good. I just opened my packet,
Yeah.
so I didn't know that was in there. So, yeah, my apologies. I know that they had worked on it.
You should have 6 total proposals in there, the planning and zoning recommendation and the scoring matrix.
Okay.
So I move to continue the discussion regarding item H of our agenda tonight. Do I have to read the whole thing?
Go ahead.
Okay, regarding proposals, proceed for the RFP for consulting services to implement phase 1 of the Hinsdale County Lake City Comprehensive Housing Plan and the Planning and Zoning Commission letter of recommendation.
Until August.
Until, yes, I'm sorry.
It takes a village to write the ordinance.
So thank you. If I'd read the whole thing, I would see what their recommendation is, and that's on my apology.
That's okay.
But we have a motion.
And then Weist.
Second.
Weist seconded.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Bruce.
Yes.
Lindsay,
Yes.
Tripsona,
Yes.
Woods,
Yes.
Weist,
Yeah.
Roberts.
Yes. Okay, motion passes. Next item is citizens' comments on matters not on the agenda. We haven't gained any citizens in the room. Are there any citizens online that have any comments for us on any matters that are not on the agenda? Once again, show your face, unmute yourself, or raise your hand.
Is that everyone that's on right now? It's or your
Yeah.
or okay,
Oh,
okay.
hold on, we got one more.
Okay, seeing none. Move on. Our next item is employee reports. We already got our town engineer report from Joanne, so we could get off at a reasonable time. In your packet is the building official report. Feedback and questions about it? As always, at the end of it, it always says if you do have a question, contact, Joanne. Next is Parks and Recreation report, that's also in your packet. Any questions or comments on that? Okay, next is the Public Works report. Read your report, well done, thank you. You have anything you'd like to add?
I'd like to add, if you guys have any questions.
Yeah, it's not specifically for you, but I'm just wondering how much more he needs to do to get the interim dropped from his title.
Soon as he passes, he gets his B certification.
Things have been a little hectic, but I
Yes.
still have been studying. That's my
You're
undertaking.
great.
He has completed everything, every other milestone that was on his agreement.
And I just wanted to use that question as an attaboy, so. thank you.
Okay.
Yep, you have had a few things on your plate. I don't have any other questions for you, other than thank you very much. You guys have been busting tail out there, and we appreciate it.
Thank you. I'll make sure to let the rest of the team know.
Do that for us.
Yeah.
Thank you. We appreciate you. Get out there and get that test done.
All right. I'm working on it.
As if you need something else on your plate.
I just want, the job that he's doing is so far beyond anything that most interim directors have ever dealt with in in a temporary manner. It's-
Yeah, I don't know if that'll go a long way. Completing the punch list that he's had. I agree with you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. We're behind.
Okay, have a good evening.
Next item is the town clerk / treasurer report. Christina's report is in the packet. I think he does a great job. His reports are very clear and easy to understand. And we send out our housing thoughts to her, as her house is probably in close to one at the moment. And so, can't be easy with Tuesday.
Joanne?
To the fire.
Oh, no, Christina, sorry. I was just looking at Joanne's report.
So, yeah. Mr. Bowman's.
Yep.
Any questions or comments on her report? Hearing none, next is the deputy clerk report. Tina? That's a, Mr. Niglio. Another good report.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments for?
I just like to, give kudos to Tina and Christina and Lex, but Tina, 150, told her 150th. I thought that went extremely well. It was really well received. And, thanks for your volunteerism, Lex,
Yeah,
to get wet.
yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
And yeah, so thank you a lot.
Thank you for precursing my mayor's report.
Sorry.
It's all right. Any other questions? No. Thank you. Next is the town manager report. Lex.
Yeah, you have my report. I do want to add something about the community junk cleanup, which I'm going to be doing a newsletter here soon about that and some messaging. I've spoken with the county and they are okay with opening up the metal junk cleanup to the whole county, all residents within the county. And also opening it up to businesses as well to go ahead and just try to get as much metal and vehicles and everything we possibly can that's been sitting around for decades. So I'm going to do that if everyone's okay with that, to message that. And I'll be asking for some volunteers again here soon, and trying to touch base with some of the ones that volunteered before to see if they're going to be available. But I will be asking for volunteers soon to assist with that. I haven't had the opportunity to do a newsletter lately, but I'm going to try to do that here within the next week or so, week really, because I'm running out of time. Something that Ethan touched on in his report was about the fire mitigation that was done around the Morningside Drive water tank. The wildland firefighters a few weeks ago, they offered to assist us in doing some mitigation around within 100 feet of it. And I got permission from Tri-State and the Breedens to allow us to go in there, and they sent a team up there and trimmed all the trees up 5-6 feet, limbed them so so that they didn't torch if there was a fire out there. And Public Works also removed a few trees that were really close to the tank. So we do feel like the Morningside water tank is more prepared for a potential fire incident than it's ever been. And I do appreciate the wildland firefighters assisting us and being willing to help us when they had the manpower at the time.
You were great.
And yeah, besides that, I'm still playing catch up. And like I said, I'm going to be reaching out to the property owners along that interceptor ditch to try to get their agreement to get it maintained. I was looking at, there's going to be more stuff on the agendas here soon as I have time to actually do the research and have a good discussion about these things. I do want to thank staff. I mean, everybody really stepped up. It has been an unprecedented July, to say the least. We have been really, really busy with lots of inquiries, lots of questions, lots of concerns and frustrations, which over the past couple of days has subsided to some degree. And I'm hoping that it kind of stays a bit calm that way for a little longer so that we can catch up on a lot of the work that got put on the back burner as we were responding to these things. A lot of planning efforts are going to have to go into things, and we're going to have to spend a lot of time on it. But as the dust settles and I can get all the ducks in a row, we'll be working on quite a few things here in the near future.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for Lex on his report? I would just like to throw out for once, I get a trustee spell check. And in your one sentence there, you spelled here, H-E-R-E instead of H-E-A-R. So I just wanted to prove that I actually read it. Okay, Lex?
Thank you.
I wasn't going to say anything. I was being nice.
I
You
appreciate
stepped
it.
up my report, I stepped up. Yeah, no, thank you very much, Lex. Yeah. Okay, no other questions? Next, legal update?
I appreciate you guys beating up Lex for not being able to spell. Glad it's not just me. I just wanted to tell you guys, I got a text from Lex at 7 this morning, and he's called me at 6 last night. So Christina, Tina, Lex, all of them, you guys are doing everything that the trustees are seeing. They're doing 3 times more work. So I don't have anything to report, but thank you guys for handling that and let me know how I can help.
Thanks, Dan.
Okay, mayor trustee reports. Trustees, how many things they'd like to share? Trustee Woods?
So where's the location of those pickleball courts gonna be?
Well, Ben went out there to measure things. We're gonna have a map and to show you the location and where it's gonna be proposed. I had reached out to like 4 different pickleball builders, and only one of them gave us a quote, and the other one had asked me some questions. I finally followed. I mean, this was like, the second week of July when I was trying to get this. So I followed up with one of them to try to get another quote out of somebody. Not everybody's willing to do work here. And so once I get another quote or two, hopefully, and then we'll do a Memorial Park map where the proposed location, at least where he thinks it would fit and be a good place for it. Then I'll come to the trustees and we can talk about that, review that. If you want to go do a field trip out there to look at the Memorial Park and discuss it, we can do that too. So that's been yet to be determined. We're going to have a proposal at some point.
Any other trustees? No? Well, I'll give you my mayor report. It was a great job you guys did on that celebration. I thought it was fun. It was a decent turnout. I would have liked to see more of the public there, but there was also a big turnout for the unveiling of the training car, which I ran over and got to see the ribbon cutting, and that's another great thing that was completed. The staff did fantastic. I want to shout out to Jody. She went out and gathered the prizes for the events in the park. I just appreciate you doing that. And thank you to the Arts Council and you guys for getting the youth here. I know people enjoy that whenever they show up. The other thing is just not to beat a dead horse, but thank you to all the first responders. We're blessed, and people are worried, sick. But turn on the news and count our blessings. We just don't need heavy winds coming our way, but they're still out there defending us. So I think that's awesome. And then a little piece of trivia for you guys when we were over down there at Dos Rios where I work. We have one of the biggest tournaments of the year is the member guest, and it's where a member invites a guest to come and play with him in a 2-day tournament. And I told Lex about this, but when we were at CML, I invited our DOLA rep, Dana Levac, by the way. After spending time with him, I can finally pronounce his name. And after 5 matches over 2 days, we scraped out first place in our flight.
No way.
By half a point. And so I did my networking with Dola, and he was very happy about the $500 he got to blow it in the pro shop for winning. So, yeah, we did our part.
That's pretty cool.
Good. And just so y'all know, it's Levac.
Good job.
That H is silent.
Yeah.
For years, I keep trying to figure out how to pronounce it. But anyways, yeah. Other than that, I just can't say thanks enough.
I may add something to something I meant to mention was that, big thanks to staff and Jody. And it really was like a community effort putting on the August 1st celebration. And there was a lot of people, there was way more food than I anticipated showing up. And a lot of people did thank us, this was really nice. We needed a sense of community, and I pitched the idea that maybe we do something where it's like county road and bridge versus public works or something next year. And maybe it's something that we could do every year as something that we could just do on August 1st. And we would definitely be able to promote it more and more consistently and try to get a better turnout. But I think it'd be a good idea. It's really nice for us just all to get together and remind ourselves that we are a community, you know? And so I would hope that when budget season comes, I'm going to bring that up, and pitch that idea.
I've had more feedback from that event than anything else we've done. And people said they liked that there weren't a lot of people there, and that the people that were there are our friends and neighbors.
Yeah.
And they like that. And the children, nobody mentioned the children
That
of
was
the dunk tank.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were like, it's over the moon about the dunk tank. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Definitely enjoyed.
The tug
Yeah.
of war was the best. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those kids they were awesome.
Well, and just so you know, we didn't raise a ton, but I kind of made an executive decision on the dunk tank. The money that did come in, we're setting aside to begin the dark skies
Right.
movement here, and let Phil Burton know that. And thank you to Lex for getting in the dunk tank, and I got in the dunk tank, and I also got Commissioner Levine to get in it. And I was just teasing Jordan Kaminsky because he was there in uniform.
Yeah.
And I said, well, you gonna support us or what? And he took off his gun belt and took off his vest and jumped in that tank. So thank you to Commissioner Levine and to Mr. Kaminsky for doing that.
Undersheriff.
Undersheriff.
Just if you're gonna use the time.
I was gonna say Jordan, but I've been told I'm too informal sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh,
But anyways, no, and that was fun, and the kids had a ball. They enjoyed the slip and slide. I saw one nasty headbutt, but apparently the little boy's okay. But other than that, and no, I also got a lot of good feedback and appreciated all the people that showed up with booths to share their information as well. And one of the things that came out of that is we keep borrowing PA systems and people cannot hear that day, and so I'd like us to start working on a little slush fund, so when we do events, the town has a PA system where people can hear. Because I read the Arbor Day proclamation as loud as I possibly could,
Yeah.
and walked over there for the tree planting, and nobody apparently heard a word. So they missed out on winning some free trees.
Yeah.
But anyways, thank you to Ben for that. He did a great job with the Arbor Day.
and let me just add, this is kind of cute as well. So the dirt board profits from the beer tent were $9.67.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
That's where I expect Jody, when I say more people, like normally that beer booth is packed.
Yes, but that seems, I guess,
Oh, trust me.
Yeah.
It was a lot slower this year than last year. And I don't know if it was location or if we didn't, I don't think we,
Marketing. Nobody really did that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Because like a few weeks ago, I had them pull the ad because I wasn't sure if we should be promoting people coming here or not.
Right.
We didn't know about what was going to happen with the
Right.
fire. So yeah, next time if we get ahead of it and we start planning now, then maybe that's even something that could be like, you know, in the visitor's guide. It could be something that is on everyone's calendar so that everyone knows it's coming.
True.
And so I think if we have a little bit more planning and cooperation with everybody, and I think it could be a big event. And it's just nice. Like I hear all these stories about community potlucks in Lake City back in the day, and I love food. And I will do everything in my power to promote such things, not only for the sense of community, but just so that we remind ourselves that we are all here and we're all neighbors.
Yep.
You know,
we could.
Well,
and we enjoy each other's company.
Colorado Day.
And seriously, we're all happy about that.
Yeah,
We're not unhappy about that.
right.
I mean, it was done, you know, not to make money.
No,
It was done, you know, just to have a service available or whatever. And so if we broke even, we'd have been happy.
yeah.
So,
The point wasn't to raise money; it was to have a sense of community.
right.
And as Trustee Lindsay said, I was just gonna say, we can't call it Colorado 150, so we need to come up with a new name for the event.
It's always Colorado Day on August 1st, though.
Yeah.
Well, we can make it Lake City Loves Colorado Day.
But it's not gonna be on the Saturday next year, so.
Yeah.
Trustee Woods?
Well, I just want to say how happy I was. I thought the whole thing was a real success. And I credit all our good employees with making it happen. I don't know if you guys know the Arts Council people have been putting all kinds of pressure on me because we didn't have enough money raised, and we got the money. We finally got over our amount that we needed in donations on the day before. And also that whole week, Mark Wing was not sure if he was gonna come or not. He might have had to cancel because of his mom in the hospital, and his sister-in-law is really sick, and who usually normally does the beading class, and so I was all stressed about that. And then, but I was so happy, and I just want to say I appreciate the Arts Council sponsoring that event, and I hope you guys will put in a good word with them to try and do it again next year. And they've already gotten more donations, so that towards next year. And but I just thought it was a real success, and I sent out the poster for contributions to a lot of people that I networked with at CML, including the town clerk of Crestone. I don't know if you guys know much about Crestone. They say it's the most cosmic town in the state of Colorado. And they wanted me to tell everybody on the 15th, they're having a Vortex Festival. Their spiritual vortex that they have at Crestone. So
On August.
I sent out the poster, and then I sent out photos to all those people, and they all said, what a cool thing. So our employees really stepped up. I appreciate it.
Right. Sure. Yeah, thank you so much. All right, this could have been the shortest meeting of the year, but I've enjoyed our conversations. Our next item is additions to the agenda. We have none. And so one action item this evening, discussion and possible action to approve the IGA with Hinsdale County Clerk and Recorder to hold a coordinated election at the November 2026 general statewide election to be held on Tuesday, November the 3rd, 2026.
I so move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Bruce.
Yes.
Lindsay.
Yes.
Truxton.
Yes.
Woods. Weist.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes, and I tricked you. We do have one other action item. Discussion and possible action to approve Ridgeway Valley Enterprises change order number 3 for the concrete basin electrical work for the wastewater treatment plant renovation project in the amount of
$23,331.11.
So moved.
Second.
second. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Bruce.
Yes.
Lindsay.
Yes.
Truxton.
Yes.
Woods.
Yes.
Weist.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes. And with no other agenda items before the board this evening, I adjourn this meeting. Thank you, everyone, for your time.
Good night.
Enjoy your reading.
Beeman.